Hi guys. So, thanks to my friend for writing all this before we had our lovely feast. Well, one thing I want to know is why so many people don't understand what Bitcoin is. And by so many people, I mean Robert Kiyosaki, some big investors, people who tend to give financial advice and who are older. They don't seem to understand that BTC has not been Bitcoin since 2017. So after August 2017, okay, BTC is no longer Bitcoin. And the reason why I can say that with confidence is because BTC is just a ticker symbol, and ticker symbols can refer to different things that can change and become other things if you just reassign what it means. So if Bitcoin is addresses 1 and not addresses BC1, okay, then this should always be Bitcoin. Even if you rename some update as Bitcoin or as BTC, the actual asset itself is going to be the thing that stays the same. And now that's what I'm interested in, okay? Because we can talk about what's technically Bitcoin according to the name or according to the original protocol or something like that. But there's also people who say, oh, BTC is going to win on the market because it's got the highest market price. And there's some people that are just saying that. So they might be aware of the changes, but they still argue that the market has decided on BTC. But there's a not just a problem, I would say there's a fatal flaw with that. Because in Bitcoin's original protocol, there's a double spend checking algorithm. And this, my friend, is a time bomb. Okay? This is a time bomb. Okay? The reason why it's a time bomb is because Bitcoin can become multiple things. It can become something that gets more and more inefficient, or it can become something that gets more and more efficient. And if you have two different Bitcoins that are going opposite, right? So if you have efficient and inefficient, and then you have BTC going here, and you have BSV going here, or original protocol, right? Original version 0.1, and this is what, version 30, okay? When you have these going far enough apart, eventually what you'll get is you'll have a network that either it doesn't make sense to use, but it's technically high in price, or it's Sybil attacked and it stops functioning altogether. Whereas here, you have a network which is efficient and it starts to pay for itself with fees. And either it sort of does that or it doesn't. But if you have enough edges between your nodes, you're not going to get Sybil attacked. So you might say, well, what if you got 51% hashing attacked? Well, in order to get 51% hashing attacked continually, you'd have to have someone who's willing to keep paying for empty blocks, which means they're not getting paid anything to do it. There's not really a complete economic incentive to do so. And for someone to Sybil attack something that's weak, Well, it's easier when you have less edges. So when you have a network that's like airports, where each node is connected to all the other nodes, then it's easy to protect the network because every time you add another node, it will try to connect with all the other nodes because it's massive enough, it's sophisticated enough, and it gets paid enough fees to economically be able to sustain that kind of thing. So you're not going to have an overabundance of nodes. You're just going to have a healthy ecosystem of nodes, kind of like airports. You don't want too many airports because nobody would be able to sustain them. But you do want enough airports. You want at least, just because you have an airport in California doesn't mean you can't afford to also put